Jackson Reed stood behind the glass walls of his office on the 42nd floor, watching the Manhattan skyline change as the sun went down. He was 37 years old. He had made Reed Innovations into a huge company from a small startup in his garage. It was worth a lot of money, $8 billion. His company made software that helped people manage healthcare in countries. In fact, 3 continents. Tonight, Jackson Reed felt really alone, and this was something that happened to him a lot since he became successful with Reed Innovations. Emily Carter, his assistant, knocked on the door 2 times before she came in. She always did things in an organized way. Emily Carter had a leather folder in her hand. She walked into the room with a quiet sense of self-assurance that he had noticed when she first came in for a job interview 2.5 years ago. Emily Carter's brown hair fell down her back, in a way, and her dark blue suit showed that she liked to look professional rather than follow the latest fashion trends. "The quarterly projections are ready for your signature," Emily said. She put the folder on his desk. "You have a conference call with the London office tomorrow morning at 9. The contract revisions from the merger team just arrived." Jackson turned away from the window. His hazel eyes looked at Emily. He said to Emily before we finish work for the day, "I want to ask Emily something that's a little strange." Jackson wanted to talk to Emily about this thing. She leaned her head a little to the side. That was the only thing that showed she was really interested. "So what is it that you need from her?" "The Prosperity Foundation Gala is happening this Saturday." Jackson ran his hand through his dark blonde hair. "I want you to come with me to the Prosperity Foundation Gala as my guest." Emily looked really surprised by what I said. "I think it is nice that you asked me. I do not think that is a good idea. Going to things like that is something you usually do with someone you know well, like a friend or family member. I like to keep things separate. I do not think it would be a good idea for me to go with you to that event. These kinds of events are usually for people who are close to you, like someone from your personal life." Jackson walked back to his desk, sat down. "This is the problem. The people in my life think of me as a way to get ahead or make a business deal. I want someone who really gets what the foundation is about and can talk about what we do in a real way. The foundation is important to me. You have been a help with our charity work. Nobody knows more about this work than you do. You understand what the foundation represents. That is what I need." That afternoon, Jackson got together with his friends Trevor Ashford and Bradley Montgomery to play squash at the Manhattan Athletic Club. They did this every week. Jackson and his friends were rich. They had a lot of money because their families were wealthy, so they spent their time taking care of their money and going to parties. Jackson and his friends liked to play squash at the Manhattan Athletic Club. "So who is going with Trevor to the gala on Saturday?" Trevor asked when they were done playing and were catching their breath. He said it in a way that made it seem like he was better than everyone, like he had never had any real problems in his life. Trevor had this tone because he had never really struggled with anything. "I am taking Emily Jackson." He was waiting to see how they would react to this. Jackson knew they would have something to say about him taking Emily. Bradley almost dropped his water bottle. "Is Jackson your assistant?" "Jackson, this is a big deal. It is the social event of the season. Every important person in New York is going to be at the event of the season. The social event of the season is where you will see every power player in New York." Trevor shook his head, laughed in a way that made me feel like he thought I was crazy. "You cannot be serious about Emily. Emily is good at her job. She is not ready for something like this. Trevor thinks Emily probably buys her clothes at stores like everyone and has never been to a fancy dinner with 7 courses. Emily just does not seem like the type to handle something fancy. She is really smart, can express herself very well. She also knows our company well, even better than a lot of the executives who work with me," Jackson said, and he could feel the tension building up in his shoulders as he said this about our business and the people on his team. "Intelligence does not teach you what kind of wine goes well with fish. It also does not teach you how to talk to people like senators and tech moguls, Bradley said. You will probably spend the evening explaining basic manners to people. This means you will not have time to build connections with the people you meet, like Bradley mentioned, because you will be too busy teaching them about basic etiquette, and that is what wine and conversations with senators and tech moguls are all about. Trevor leaned forward like he was going to tell a secret. Amanda Sinclair has been waiting for you to ask her something. The thing is, her family is really powerful on Wall Street. They are in charge of a lot of the investment banking stuff. Amanda Sinclair actually knows what she is doing in these kinds of situations. Amanda is really what I dislike about the people I hang out with, Jackson said firmly. To Amanda, people are like things you can use, and conversations are like buying and selling things. Jackson thinks that Amanda sees people as things that can help her, and conversations as ways to get what she wants from people, like they are business deals or something. Amanda does not think about how people feel. She just thinks about what they can do for her, Jackson said. And your assistant sees you as the person who gives her a job and pays her, Bradley said. Amanda knows what is going on in your world. Emily does not know what to do because things are too hard for her. Back at the office, Emily was sitting at her desk. It was really late. Most of the people who work with her had already gone home for the evening. She just could not stop thinking about what Jackson had said to her. He had invited her to something. It was still on her mind. Emily was doing some work like sorting out files and checking the schedule for the week. She had been to company parties and things like that before. She always went for work, taking notes and making sure everything ran smoothly, staying behind the scenes the whole time. The Reed Innovations annual report was sitting on her desk. It had pictures from the party they had last year. She looked at the pictures of the women who were dressed up in clothes. They were wearing a lot of jewelry, probably worth more than she made in a whole year. The Reed Innovations people were not just rich, they were also important. They knew a lot of important people. And the Reed Innovations people went to places that she had only seen from far away. Her phone buzzed with a text from Daniel, her brother, who was finishing his master's degree at Columbia University. The text from Daniel said, "How was work today?" Daniel also asked if there was any drama with billionaires at her work. Daniel wanted to know about her day. Emily smiled even though she was worried about things. Daniel always knew how to make Emily feel better. Emily typed back a message to Daniel fast. Daniel asked Emily to go to a charity gala with Daniel. Emily is not sure if this is an idea to go to the charity gala with Daniel. Her phone rang away. Emily Carter. I really hope you did not say no to Daniel, your boss, because he is a rich and handsome man, Daniel said in a very excited voice. Emily said it is not romantic. This is an arrangement, Emily explained. The man needs someone who really gets what the company does for charity. The company's charitable work is very important to him. So Daniel said in a way because there's really no one else in the whole company who can talk about charity work. Emily, when did you last do something just for yourself? Emily thought about the question for a time. Her life was very predictable now. She went to work, helped her mom with the bills because her dad was not around anymore. She also made sure Daniel had money so he could study without worrying about it. Emily felt like she could not have things in her life because she had to be responsible. Emily had to take care of a lot of things, and excitement was something she did not have time for. This is not about getting excited, she said finally. This is about being professional and not doing anything that would embarrass me or the company. Or it is about taking a chance on something that could be really great, Daniel said. Daniel has been your boss for 2.5 years now. In all that time, Daniel has never asked anyone from the office to go to these things with him. That has to mean something about these events in Daniel. The morning Emily got to the office 30 minutes before everyone else, like she always does. She liked using this time to look over Jackson's schedule for the day and get everything ready for the meetings they had planned. When Jackson came out of the elevator at exactly 8 o'clock, Emily was all set with his coffee and a summary of what they would be doing that morning. Good morning, Emily, he said as he walked with her to his office. The product development team is waiting for you at 9 o'clock. That is all confirmed. The Singapore office sent over some proposals. They got here last night, so you can look them over now. The proposals from the Singapore office are here for you to review." He said, "Thank you," then he turned to face Emily. "Emily, I wanted to talk to you about Saturday evening. If you do not like the plan we made, that's okay with me. I do not want Emily to feel like she has to do something because we work together at the office." She looked into Jackson Reed's eyes, saw that he was really worried about her. He was not just waiting for her to do something. In that moment, she understood that Jackson Reed, with all his money and power, was actually asking her for something instead of telling her what to do. This was something that said a lot about the kind of person Jackson Reed was, and it was something she had noticed during the 2.5 years she had worked with Jackson Reed. "I want to accept your invitation," she said quietly. "I need to make something clear. When I go to this thing, I'm going as your colleague. I'm not just going to stand and look nice. I'm going to this thing as your colleague, not as someone who's just there to make you look good." A smile changed the way he normally looks. "I do not want it to be different. The foundation is very important to me. I need someone at the foundation who feels the same way about the foundation. Then yes, I will go with you to the gala." As they continued toward his office, Emily felt anticipation and anxiety settle in her stomach. She had committed to entering a world she had only observed from the outside, accompanying a man whose presence commanded attention in any room. Saturday evening would reveal whether she truly belonged in his world, or if the gulf between their backgrounds was too wide to bridge. The rest of the week went by fast. Emily spent all her time getting ready and wondering if she was doing everything right. She looked into the history of the foundation, learned about the people who give them money, and checked out the list of guests over and over again. It was like she was studying for a test. When she had time for lunch, Emily would sneak away to look at dresses in stores. The prices were too high. The foundation and the people who give them money, like the donors, were really important to Emily. She wanted to make an impression at the event, so she kept looking for a nice gown. The prices of the gowns were so high that they made her feel sick, because she knew she had been saving that money for a time, and the foundation was important to her. On Friday evening, Emily went to her childhood home in Brooklyn. This is where her mother, Claire Carter, still lived. She lived in the modest brownstone where Emily grew up. Her mother, Claire Carter, used to teach English at a school. She did this for 30 years before she stopped working. Claire Carter had a lot of ideas that helped Emily when she had to make tough choices. Emily really liked getting advice from her mother, Claire Carter. "Mom, I think I made a mistake by saying yes to this invitation," Emily said as they sat in the kitchen they knew well, drinking tea. The kitchen was a place for Emily. "I just do not fit in with those people," Emily thought to herself about that world. Emily felt like she did not belong in that world at all. Claire looked at her daughter Emily with a sharp eye. She had seen a lot of kids try to make up excuses over the years. "You can be anywhere you want to be, Emily. The thing is, do you really want to be Emily? What if I do something that embarrasses him? What if his friends are right and I am totally out of my depth with this thing? I mean, what if I'm really not good enough for this? I mess it up with him. What if his friends see that I am not right for him? They tell him that I am completely out of my depth when it comes to this kind of thing with him." Her mother got up, walked to a closet in the hallway. She came back with a garment bag that Emily had never seen. The garment bag had a beautiful dress inside. It was a floor-length dress made of green silk. The dress was very elegant. It looked like something that would always be in style. The emerald silk dress was really stunning. "This was mine," Claire said softly. "I wore this dress to a party when your father got an award for helping kids who are not as lucky as we are. This was a time before you were born. Your father always said that this dress made me feel like I could do anything. He loved this dress on me. I loved wearing it to special events with him." Emily felt tears up in her eyes as she held the beautiful gown. Her father had passed away when Emily was 12 years old. The memory of her father remained a big help to Emily. "Are you sure you want Emily to wear the gown? This dress is really special. It should be worn by someone who will treat it with respect. My father always said that being elegant is not about how something costs, it is about the kind of person you are. When you wear this dress, remember who you are and where you come from. Your father wanted you to have this dress. He wanted you to remember these things. Wear the dress and think about what it means to be a person like your father taught you. On Saturday morning, the air was cool and fresh. Daniel got to the place early with his girlfriend, Sophia. Sophia does makeup for a magazine that's about fashion. Daniel and Sophia and Claire all worked together to make Emily's little apartment look like a salon. They did this for Emily. Today, Sophia said, we are going to show the people in Manhattan with a lot of money what it means to have class. She set up all her work things on the dining table. For the 3 hours, Emily listened to what they had to say and tried to relax. She felt a little nervous, like there were butterflies flying around in her stomach. Sophia was really good at what she did. She worked on Emily's face like an artist, making her look like herself a little better. Sophia did not put a lot of makeup on Emily. She just added a little here and there to make Emily's green eyes and nice face stand out. Emily got her bone structure from her mother. Sophia made sure to show that off. When Emily finally put on the emerald gown, it fit her well. The emerald gown made her eyes look amazing. The emerald gown was a cut that made Emily look very elegant. Then she put on Claire's vintage pearl earrings. The vintage pearl earrings were a family heirloom. The emerald gown and the vintage pearl earrings looked really great together on Emily. Daniel let out a whistle when she came out of her bedroom. Jackson Reed is going to forget his own name when he lays eyes on her, Daniel thought to himself about Jackson Reed. Emily looked at herself. She could hardly believe the woman she saw. This woman was really elegant. The change in Emily was not just about how she looked. Emily felt like a person now. Emily felt more confident. She was ready to deal with anything that might happen that evening. Emily was ready to face whatever people might say about her. Claire said to remember that being confident means you know what you are worth. You do not have to pretend to be someone tonight. Tonight you are just showing people the woman that Claire knows you have always been, the woman that you have always been. Claire wants you to know that you are a woman. A car horn sounded from the street. Emily got her purse and took a deep breath. She opened the door. Jackson was standing in the hallway. He was wearing a nice black suit that made him look like a movie star. It was the look on Jackson's face that really caught her attention. Jackson looked so good in his suit, and Emily could not help but notice how handsome Jackson looked. For a long time he just looked at Emily. He did not say anything. Then he said her name. He said Emily. His voice was very quiet. He told her that she looks really beautiful. She said thank you. Felt her face get warm. The woman told him that he looks really good too. The ride to the Plaza Hotel in the limousine felt really weird. They were driving through the streets of Manhattan, and Jackson seemed really nervous. He kept fixing his cufflinks over. The Plaza Hotel was where they were going. The streets of Manhattan were looking really pretty. Jackson was not usually like this, so it was strange to see him so nervous about going to the Plaza Hotel. He told me that I should know what we are getting ourselves into. There are going to be a lot of people who will be very curious about our situation tonight. Not all of these people are going to be nice about the arrangement that we have. Our arrangement tonight is something that a lot of people will be talking about. Emily said this in a voice I did not think it was a good idea to hide. I am here to help the foundation. I want to make Reed Innovations proud of me. Jackson's smile was genuine and warm. That attitude is exactly why you were the perfect choice. When Emily and Jackson arrived at the plaza, there were a lot of photographers waiting at the entrance. They started taking pictures the moment Emily got out of the limousine. Jackson did a nice thing and offered Emily his arm to walk with. People who were also arriving at the plaza started whispering to each other about Emily and Jackson. I'm trying to figure out who this woman is. She does not look familiar to me from any of the places I go or the people I know. I just do not recognize this woman all. Inside the ballroom, the Prosperity Foundation made it look really nice and fancy. There were crystal lights hanging from the ceiling that gave off a soft glow over the tables, and these tables had pretty white orchids on them. A group of musicians played music on their instruments, which sounded very classy. The room was full of people from New York, and they were all wearing their best clothes. Trevor showed up quickly. He looked pretty surprised when he saw Emily. He looked her up and down. "Jackson, it is good to see you."
This must be Emily. Trevor was still looking at Emily, taking in everything about her. He was trying not to show how surprised he was. You could tell he was. Emily Carter said with a smile, extending her hand. "It is nice to meet you, Trevor." Emily Carter felt happy to meet Trevor in person. "The pleasure is mine," he said, though his tone remained skeptical. "Tell me, Emily, are you really into changing the way we do education?" That is what the foundation is mostly this year. Education reform is what they are focusing on, and education reform is the main thing they want to work on. Yes, Emily responded smoothly. I grew up in a neighborhood in Brooklyn where the schools did not have money. The work that the foundation does is really great because it gives technology and resources to communities that need them. The foundation is changing people's lives. The tablet program helped 12,000 students who never had computers or other digital tools to learn with before. The tablet program is a help to these students. The foundation is doing a job of providing technology and resources to underserved communities, like the one I grew up in. Trevor's eyebrows went up. He really did not expect to get much information. Trevor must say the person has definitely put in a lot of effort to learn about the topic. Trevor is impressed that the person has done their homework thoroughly. Emily said with a smile, "It is not homework when it is work I helped set up. I have been in charge of the foundation's corporate partnership programs for the year, which is a big job. The foundation's corporate partnership programs are what I have been managing." Emily was really having a time as she walked around the ballroom. She talked to people who cared about education and making a difference just like Emily did. Senator Robert Callahan talked to Emily about how technology can help make sure all kids have the chances to learn. They had a lively conversation about this. Philanthropist Catherine Westbrook liked what Reed Innovations was doing with their scholarship programs. She thought it was a new and exciting way to do things. Reed Innovations was doing something with education and social impact, and people, like Catherine Westbrook, appreciated that. Miss Carter, Catherine said during the cocktail hour, "Jackson tells me you have really helped develop these initiatives. The way you think about giving to charity as a company is very smart." Jackson said, "You have been a part of making these initiatives happen. Your ideas about giving have been really great." Emily felt really good that Jackson had said out loud that she had done a job. "Thank you, Miss Westbrook. I think that companies should help the communities they're a part of, especially when they have special skills that can make a big difference in people's lives. Companies like these should invest in the communities because it is the thing to do." Emily thinks that companies have a responsibility to help people in the areas where they can use their skills to make things better. When they were having dinner, the people at their table were foundation board members and people who care about education. They were not people who just want to be friends with people or make business deals. Emily noticed that Jackson had picked people to sit with who would talk about important things. As the foundation showed a video of kids using the things they got from the programs, Emily saw Jackson's face get happy and relaxed. He really looked happy. Satisfied when he saw the kids using the technology and resources that the foundation provided. "Ladies and gentlemen," the foundation director said from the podium, "I want to say thank you to Reed Innovations. They have done a job this year. Jackson Reed is the leader of Reed Innovations. He has a very good team. They have given us money to help. That is not all. Reed Innovations has also given us ideas that have really changed the way we help students in 3 states. We are talking about Reed Innovations and the good work they do." The people clapped for a time and it was very sincere. Emily felt really lucky to be doing work that actually made a difference. She was happy to be part of this work that had an impact on people's lives. Emily thought that her work was making things better for people, and that felt great. After dinner, the music. People began dancing. Jackson got up. Asked Emily to dance with him. He said to Emily, "Will you dance with me, Emily? I would really like it if you would dance with Jackson." On the dance floor, Emily was surrounded by lots of couples swaying to the music. She felt like they were the people in the world. Jackson had his hand on her waist. They were dancing together really well. The dance floor was full of people. Emily felt like Jackson and Emily were in their own little world. Jackson and Emily moved together like they had danced before, even though they had not. Jackson said that you did a great job tonight. It was amazing to see you talk to people. You sounded very smart and nice. You handled every conversation with intelligence and grace, which was extraordinary, Jackson said quietly. Watching you was really something, Jackson thought to himself. You were great in every conversation. I really appreciate you including me, Emily said. It feels really good to be a part of this. Seeing what the foundation is actually doing makes a difference to me. The foundation's work is what makes this so meaningful. I really like the way Jackson thinks. It is what I like most about working with Jackson. Jackson said this and his voice was very serious. It was a tone that she had never heard Jackson use before. As the music kept going, Emily noticed that the music had caught people's attention. Some people at the party were looking at her with a smile, while Trevor and Bradley were looking at her with a really surprised face. Jackson's eyes were still on Emily, and she felt like something big had changed between Emily and Jackson. The woman said, "We are being watched," she said it quietly. "Let them watch," Jackson replied. "I am where I want to be, and that is with the people and things that matter to Jackson." Jackson feels happy and content with his life now. The way he spoke made Emily's heart beat fast. This evening was not about doing her job anymore. It had become something bigger than that. The intensity in his voice made Emily's heart race. She knew that this evening had become something far more significant than a professional obligation, something that really mattered to Emily. The party was coming to an end. People were starting to leave. Trevor walked up to them with a look on his face that Emily had never seen before. This look was of like respect for the people he was talking to, specifically for Emily and the person she was with, the gala guests. Trevor looked at them with this expression that showed he really thought they were important, the guests at the gala. "I want to say sorry to both of you. I was really wrong about you, Emily. You did a job tonight. You were very gracious. You fit in here just like everyone else. I think you handled things well, Emily. You showed that you belong here as much as anyone else does." Emily said, "Thank you. This really means a lot to Emily." It is very special to Emily. Later, Jackson's driver was driving through Manhattan. It was late at night. The traffic was bad. Jackson and the driver sat quietly in the car. They were both thinking about what happened that night. The silence in the car was comfortable for Jackson and the driver. They did not need to talk about the evening's events now. Jackson and the driver were just thinking about what they had seen and done. Emily, Jackson said finally, "Tonight was really different for me. I asked you to come as a friend from work. At some point tonight I figured out that I was actually having a great time with someone who means a lot to me. Tonight changed something for me, Emily. I was having a time with you and I realized that you are more important to me than I thought." Jackson felt like he was spending time with Emily, not a colleague. Emily turned to face him. She saw that he looked really unsure of himself, which was how she was feeling too. "I felt it too," she said in a voice. "I really need to know what is going to happen on Monday morning. How are we going to deal with this situation at work when the new week starts?" Emily wanted to know how they would handle this at their job. Jackson said that he is being honest. "We will keep moving with honesty and respect for the things we have done together for work." Jackson also wants a chance to see what Jackson and the other person might be able to build together outside of work if the other person is okay with that. Jackson thinks this could be a thing for Jackson and the other person. Emily smiled. She felt that everything was just right. "I think that I would really like that much." 3 months later, Emily got a job as the director of corporate social responsibility. The board agreed that she should have this job because of what she could do and the good results she had. Emily and Jackson became friends over time. They respected each other, and this started a long time before they met at the gala. Emily and Jackson took things slowly. Their friendship grew because they thought highly of each other. Jackson's friends finally saw what he liked about Emily. She was really smart and honest. She really cared about doing things that mattered. Emily brought calmness to Jackson's life. Helped him make good choices for his business. She showed that the best teams are the ones that share the ideas and values, not just the ones that look good to other people. Jackson and Emily, they were a team because they shared the same values, and that is what made their partnership strong. The partnership between Jackson and Emily. The emerald gown was hanging in Emily's closet. It was a reminder of the night that changed everything for Emily. The emerald gown meant a lot to Emily because it reminded her of what her mother taught her. Her mother said that being a good person is what makes you elegant. Emily's mother also said that you have to know what you are worth to feel confident. The emerald gown made Emily think about what her mother said about love. Her mother told her that when two people really see each other and like each other for who they're, that is when love happens. The emerald gown was special to Emily because it reminded her of her mother's lessons. The best invitations can come from places you do not expect. Saying yes to something that's not certain can take you to really amazing places. Emily went into that room with Jackson as his helper. She came out as his equal partner. This did not happen because Emily changed who she was. It happened because Emily stayed true to herself and let the world see the Emily. The world got to see Emily, and that is what made her Jackson's equal partner. Emily and Jackson are an example of how saying yes to uncertainty can lead to great things. The story of Emily and Jackson became a legend at Reed Innovations. It reminded people that the valuable partnerships are built on respect and shared purpose. You see, the important thing is to have the courage to look beyond superficial boundaries. Jackson had asked Emily to go to a gala with him. When Emily said yes, she was actually inviting Jackson into her life. Her life was richer and more meaningful than anything money could buy. Emily and Jackson found something together at Reed Innovations. And that, they both discovered, was worth more than all the grand ballrooms and glittering chandeliers in Manhattan.